Hello, I'm James Morrow, and if you're watching this, well, I've got news for you. You, yes, you, might be a fascist. Now wait, I hear you saying, there's no way I could be a fascist. I don't believe in the merger of state and corporate power, which is of course one of the key planks of fascism. I have no truck with racists or racial superiority either. And the only tiki torches I've ever lit was for a garden party. And I also bet you're thinking right now, I don't even have anything brown in my wardrobe, much less a brown shirt. Well, sorry, none of that counts for anything, because if you're watching this program, you're probably not a big fan of Joe Biden. And that, according to the White House, yes, makes you a fascist. It sounds crazy, but what doesn't sound crazy these days, really? So let's find out more as we go busting the narrative. Yes, I know, it all sounds bonkers, but of course fascist has been the favorite insult of the left ever since at least George W. Bush, who was very often made up as Adolf Hitler by the well-groomed, deodorant-wearing protesters who used every day of his presidency to put down their bong and get out of their parents' basement for a little vitamin D. But now, the radical left has made it off the streets and into the White House, where spokeswoman Karine Jean Pierre pushed that line the other day that, yes, Trump supporters were fascist.
When laying out and defining what MAGA Republicans have done, and you look at the definition of fascism and you think about what they're doing in attacking our democracy, what they're doing in taking away our freedoms, wanting to take away our rights, our voting rights. I mean, that is what that is. It is very clear, and that's why he made that powerful speech that you heard from him last night, and he has not shied away from saying that.
This was a doubling down on something Joe Biden said at a fundraiser earlier in the week, when he said that Trump supporters, or MAGA Republicans, were, as he put it, semi-fascists.
President Biden had a new attack on Republicans during a fundraiser last night. The president said, quote, "What we're seeing now is the beginning or the death knell of an extreme MAGA philosophy. It's not just Trump. It's the entire philosophy that underpins the," I'm going to say something, "it's like semi-fascism." That's a quote.
Semi-fascism? Is that like the tasty Italian dessert, semifreddo? Now, Joe Biden, of course, was very pleased with his little quip, calling half the country not just deplorables a la Hillary Clinton, but basically Nazis, even if he didn't want to be drawn on what he really meant.
What do you mean by semi-fascism, sir?
So in December, you will...
You know what I mean.
Now, of course, the NPCs of the progressive left absolutely loved this, because among other things, they are profoundly ignorant about the meaning of words. I mean, these are the guys who think men can have babies after all. And they also believe we all live in an endless year zero, where true history and not the propaganda of the classroom is, to them, intellectual kryptonite. But before the left goes throwing around terms like fascist, well, maybe they should remember the very recent past, like 2016, when Hillary Clinton and the Democrats refused to respect the result of the federal election, something they lambasted Trump for doing just 4 years later. And as late as 2019, Mrs. Clinton was calling Trump's presidency illegitimate. Sorry, what? I know, it sounds a little bit, I don't know, alt-right, maybe even fascist to me. But what about other things they did, like putting tax authorities onto their political enemies, which Barack Obama did do, and which caused the IRS to have to sign a settlement and make an apology to those targeted. Barack Obama also used the Espionage Act to target more reporters, journalists, and their sources than all previous administrations combined. Back then, of course, Joe Biden was just content to be Barack's VP, sitting in the background eating ice cream and wearing aviator sunnies while all this was going down. But if the left were looking for things to call fascist, that might be a good place to start. And now, since becoming president, at least in name, Joe Biden has overseen plenty of things that would fit the Democrats' new definition of fascism, such as using its close ties to big corporations in the media to suppress damaging stories, with law enforcement lurking in the background. Tick. Setting up a government disinformation board headed by a political ally to crack down on inconvenient opinions online. Well, that's another tick. And, as it looks all the more clear, using the FBI to target a former president and potential rival. Tick, tick, and tick again. Look, fascism is an ugly word, and it should only be used for people who really believe and do fascist things. But if the Democrats are going to start throwing the word around, they shouldn't be surprised if it comes back and bites them in the brown shirt. Thanks for watching. I am James Morrow, and to support this channel, please like, share, and subscribe below. And I'll see you next week for more Busting the Narrative. Bye-bye.